Hi, it's Louisa Dahl. And welcome to the Interactive Minds podcast, where I talk with passionate marketers, innovators, and digital leaders about their specific recipes for success. In today's show, I interview Jo Violeta talking about marketing their family business. Here's 3 things you're going to learn. 1, how to start with grassroots community involvement. 2, evolving marketing as the business matures. And 3, why getting clarity on your target audience is key. Let's get into it. Today I'm here with Jo Violeta, who is the Community Engagement and Brand Communications Manager at Violeta Finance. Welcome to the show, Jo.
Hi, Louisa. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be on the show.
Awesome. It's great to have you here. Now, you work for a family business, Violeta Finance. Tell us a little bit about that business to start off with.
Well, we launched the business just over 5 years ago, funnily enough, when I was pregnant, because people always seem to launch businesses or move houses when they're pregnant.
I did the same. I can relate.
And it's a mortgage brokering business. So my husband, Carl, is the mortgage broker, and I manage our brand communications and community engagement. So really, from the very start, I was responsible for ensuring that people knew about the existence of our business and bringing clients in. So small husband and wife business, we have in the last couple of years started to add to our team. So we have 2 staff members on the team now as well, which we're really proud and excited about. But the service that we deliver is helping people secure home loans, small business loans, and asset finance as well. So like car loans and stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, I'm really interested to hear about this because I know quite a few finance brokers and none of them have a marketer that they're married to help them out. So I'm keen to hear about how you got started. Was this your first kind of delving into marketing as a career, or what were you doing prior to this role?
It was. So prior to starting the business, so I was on maternity leave when Carl launched the business, and my previous roles were with the federal government. So I worked for the Department of Human Services, and I worked there as a senior learning specialist. So training leaders in Centrelink, Medicare and Child Support Agency, how to engage with their staff, resilience techniques, that sort of thing. So not obviously related to marketing, but I do believe that role equipped me with marketing skills, because you're marketing or you're selling ideas and concepts and trying to get people to buy into those ideas and concepts and become advocates for the department's brand's way of doing things. So I do actually believe that equipped me with some pretty unique skills that I was able to transfer into marketing. And before that, for the department, I was working as a community engagement officer. So a lot of the knowledge that I built from that, particularly around engaging with community stakeholders, gave us, I think, a bit of a competitive advantage for Violeta Finance, but no traditional marketing background before starting the business. In fact, when Carl first launched the business, he was just working on the business by himself, and he thought he was in charge of marketing. And so I convinced him to start a Facebook page, which he didn't really quite understand why we needed one. But I said, you do need one. But there were a few posts that were not great. And I said, I think I need to take over here. Can I give you one example of one of the posts that was not awesome? Do. Now, I don't know if you're going to want to leave this in the podcast, because I don't know what your rating is for the podcast. But he took a photo with a cricketer. He went to some sort of event with where they had cricket players. I don't know much about cricket. It was someone surname Ponting. No idea what their first name is.
Ricky Ponting.
Okay. All right, I know nothing about sports. I don't follow sports. But he's standing with Ricky Ponting, and there's a sign that says team player. Carl positioned himself right in front of the P. So When that post came up, and again, I don't know if you want to leave this in or not, but when that post came up on our Facebook page, I said I need to take over here.
That was the defining moment.
Yeah, it certainly was. That's where my
Nice.
marketing career started.
Well, it sounds like you definitely were able to leverage some parallels from your past roles, which is great. So social media seemed to be the obvious starting point for you. What were the other priorities when you started getting involved?
So yes, definitely social media, and at the time it was just Facebook as far as social media went that we focused on, because I hadn't done anything in marketing before, particularly not digital marketing, and so I really wanted to obsessively learn everything I could about that platform and really achieve some good results on there and establish our business on there, the brand on there, before moving on to any other social media platforms. But the other big focus was community engagement and PR. So really making sure that we were very much known in our local community. And that's where my background in community engagement really paid dividends. So we didn't have any clients when we started out. Carl was very focused on learning his craft, but we also had some spare time. So we were really grassroots out there. We were at every fete, we were at every fundraiser, helping out, doing whatever we could to just become known in our local community, particularly because we just moved to the area as well. We were living in Seaford in Victoria. So that community engagement piece really helped us very quickly become known in our local community and liked and trusted. And PR tied in really well with that as well. So I started running an annual fundraiser for the Cancer Council, the biggest morning tea.
Yes.
Through that, I met a fantastic local Mornington Peninsula public relations professional who has her own business, Andrea, and she helped to amplify our community engagement efforts through public relations. So a lot of the events that we organised or took part in were featured in local newspapers and local magazines, and also on the local radio station as well.
Fantastic. Now, these were very much launch activities around by the sounds of it. Did you have a website at that point as well?
No website, no. We built our first website when we were about 6 to 12 months into the business.
Yep.
And it was not an amazing website. I mean, I don't think anyone's website is anything to be proud of. It was ugly. It didn't function very well, but it was a start. Now, our website, we've really lifted our website game, I would say, in the last 12 months. I took a course in SEO, search engine optimization, learned what was not quite right technically of the website, got some help with that from someone who I really trust and has an excellent track record. And so it's really only been, we've had a website for years, but it's only really been in the last 12 months that website has become an effective vehicle for driving inquiry and conversions.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned there that you did a course on SEO. Have you done any other training or skills development along the way in this role?
Well, I've almost completed my diploma of marketing, so not quite finished it, but I'm getting there. So I will very soon have a formal qualification, which is great. But
Awesome.
I've also done what I found even more valuable than my formal studies with the diploma is doing online courses. So I completed the SEO course. Shout out to Kate Toon. That was the recipe for SEO success.
We love Kate Toon.
Oh, amazing. Game changer for our business. And another game changer for the business was attending the Digital Picnics Facebook ads workshop, and also being part of they've got like a VIP membership as well. So, and being part of Kate Toon's membership. So that kind of professional development has really made a big difference. And you know what else? Listening to podcasts like yourself and like your podcast, for example, because you've interviewed quite a few people in my space, like Suncorp and Virgin Finder as well, Virgin Money. Hearing what those marketers have done and learning from their experience, that's invaluable. Podcasts are such a great resource.
Definitely. And they're free, and you get to hear from other, people who have different experiences. So, yeah, I'm obviously a big fan, but I'm glad that you're enjoying them as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So how have your marketing activities changed over the years, and going from that initial kind of launch and getting yourselves known to what you might be working on now?
Well, they've definitely evolved. We've become more clear on our brand. But I think what might be helpful for me to answer this question really effectively is to think of kind of like big turning points for us, or points where I saw big changes for our marketing and our business. And so one big game-changing moment for us was when we really got clear on our target audience, so who we're serving. And I just think this is so critical for small businesses. When you've got limited resources, time and money, being really clear on your audience is just so important, and it can really make the most of those limited resources.
Yeah.
So when we got really clear on our target audience and just spoke to them and really tailored all of our, not just our marketing, but our branding and also our service offering to that target audience, we saw a really big difference. We didn't feel like we were chasing inquiry anymore. Inquiry was coming to us, and it was coming from the sort of people that we really wanted to work with.
How did you go about identifying the best target audience for you? I know there's a lot of different ways out there, from research through to, customer journey mapping, and a whole lot of different approaches that companies can take. What did you find was helpful in your situation?
It was quite a process, and I'm actually a bit obsessed with understanding my target audience. So there's a few things that we looked at. So first of all, we looked at data. So we looked at, okay, where is most of our inquiry coming from? Who is most of our inquiry coming from? How are they finding us? And then we also looked at, of our clients, who are the most profitable clients? And by that I mean profitable as in who you're making the most margin with, but who's also recommending customers to you. But also, I think for me, profitability, and this might be going against traditional thinking, but profitability, it really is cost versus what you earn, the revenue from that client.
Yeah.
But cost isn't just financial. I think it's also emotional. So it's look at the lifetime value of the customer, but also look at who do you actually really enjoy working with. And so that was something that Carl needed to do some deep thinking about. Who does he, when he works with them, who does he get energy from? And, what sort of clients, customers, perhaps sap your energy a bit. So we were really looking at who do you want to work with, mate? Because you're going to be doing this every day. Who do you enjoy working with, and who's going to refer you to their friends and family? And then also looking at lifetime value from a financial perspective as well.
Yeah.
And so it really was diving into our database, but then also looking at what we value and what we have to offer. And what we value, Carl and I, is inclusivity. So offering a service that is inclusive and accessible for people. And we reflected on our own life experience and the sort of things that have frustrated us personally about dealing with service providers. And one of the things that really frustrates me personally when dealing with service providers is, as a mum, I've got 2 kids and my youngest is 5. And my eldest is 18. I found it really hard with my youngest to access professional services when he was a baby. I couldn't find places where I felt comfortable breastfeeding him. I might take him into see a financial planner, for example, and if I needed to change his nappy, there was nowhere to do that. So my frustrations sort of led into what I wanted our service offering to be. And I feel like I've gone off on a tangent, but I am answering the question, I promise you. And so we looked at our frustrations and who we enjoyed working with, and what we figured out is that we can offer a really unique service for parents with young children. And those are the people that Carl really enjoyed working with. So people that were looking to buy a new home or refinance their home, they've got young children, so they're probably upgrading to a bigger home, and they're also maybe looking at, when the children get a little bit older, buying their first investment property. So how can we be a really important part of that journey, and how can we create a service offering that is 100% tailored to their convenience? So making it a really convenient, enjoyable service for them. So once we got really clear on that, we got clear on our values, and we got clear on our data around our clients, we realized who our target market is.
Yeah. And you can market so much more effectively and speak to that audience, can't you, when you define that? Were there any surprises that you came across in that process, or did you kind of suspect that niche was going to be the one for you?
Oh, I mean, I was completely surprised. I thought our niche was first home buyers, to be honest with you. And we still are more than happy to help first home buyers. We've got lots of first home buyer clients. But when we dug into the data, we found that it wasn't necessarily first home buyers that was our target market. It was parents with young children who already owned a home, looking to upgrade or refinance. So that was actually surprising, because I went in there with the bias that it would be first home buyers, but the data said something completely different.
Yeah, interesting. And how do you go about targeting this audience today? What are the top 3, say, marketing channels that you're using to get to this niche?
Okay, so definitely still Facebook would be our number one, I would say, for cold audiences, but also for remaining top of mind with our current clients. And Facebook is so effective for us because when we looked at stats around what platforms different demographics use as well, and we also interviewed our clients, we interviewed people who fit our ideal client profile, and we found that the majority of those people are on Facebook, and they're on Facebook quite regularly. And so we've managed to build up quite a powerful connection by creating weekly videos. So we create regular videos with Carl, very natural. He's very personable, he's very likable, and he's also very knowledgeable. And so that's where we manage to generate a lot of our business is from people actually watching these weekly videos with Carl.
Yep.
So Facebook, and one of the keys, apart from the videos on Facebook, is that I'm a mum with a young child. I understand her pain points. I understand the language that she uses. And so I've really tried to bring that personality into our marketing on all platforms, but particularly Facebook.
Yeah.
I would say the second most effective, in our top 3, would also be the website, and really that's only been in the last year that we've started to generate really good inquiry through the website, and that's from DIYing my SEO and fixing some technical issues on the website, and looking at the copy on the website as well, just making sure that it really does appeal to our target market. And then the third one, and I do think this fits into marketing, is now that we're no longer in that launch phase, we're 5 years in, we're a more mature business, we've got a database. And so it's just love bombing that database, that current database. So through email. I'm not talking spam, like I'm talking helpful email, through just surprises sometimes, like a gift might come in the mail, phone calls. Again, nothing spammy and overly salesy, but just really, just love bombing them and being there to help them, because it's quite a personal relationship that Carl builds with his clients, like helping someone buy a house. We go to so many house warming parties, I'm telling you. It's amazing. So it's really about maintaining that relationship. So we'll always be the one that they think of when they need a hand with finance, and we'll always be the one that they think of when their friends and family need a hand with finance.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that love bombing term as well. That's really cool. So how much time are you spending each week now on marketing Violeta Finance?
Less than you would think. It's not a full-time gig. I'm a mum of two, and also my youngest started school this year. So I actually stepped out of the not out of the business, I'm still in the business, but kind of stepped out on my own a bit as well, and relaunched my own personal career. So I'm heading up the marketing for a national finance aggregator called Buyer's Choice. So that has cut into the time that I'm spending on Violeta Finance, but those choices were quite strategic. So we do have a team now. So the team is assisting me with the marketing, but I would probably spend perhaps 10 hours a week marketing Violeta Finance. So strategy, content creation, videos, all that sort of thing, email marketing.
Yeah, excellent. And what about your other role? How do you work that in, and how's the juggle?
Well, the juggle is like level 10 extreme right now, because we're all on, we're all on home isolation. I'm working from home. School goes back next week. I think school will be back by the time this podcast is published. And I'm in Victoria, so learning will be remote. So I don't know how I'm going to juggle the learning from home and working from home. No. We'll see. But I'm in the same boat as everyone, all the other parents out there. We'll make it work. But as far as my new role, I mean, it is quite complementary to Violeta Finance. It's the same industry, and part of my role with Buyer's Choice is supporting and educating the brokers in that aggregation group. There's about 150 of them, to market their own businesses. So I'm passing on everything that I've learned and all my mistakes through Violeta Finance to the broker network in Buyer's Choice. As far as time goes, I'm basically working full-time hours, but 3 days a week are with Buyer's Choice, and then 2 sort of short 5-hour days with Violeta Finance.
Well, good. Sounds like you definitely have your hands full, but it's great that they're complementary and you can stay in the industry and that works well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. So how do you prioritize your work and manage your day-to-day? I'm always interested to hear how people use various tools and techniques to manage priorities and calendars. What's your approach?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to get this pronunciation completely wrong. Is Pomodoro. I think I got Pomodoro. That right.
Perfect, yeah.
Woo! It's so there's the Pomodoro technique, which is basically 25 minutes of full focused work, and then you take a short break, and then you go back for the 25 minutes. So no checking your phone, no checking your email, no looking at anything shiny, just 25 minutes of really focused work. And that technique has worked extremely well for me. Also, early mornings, like very early mornings. So get up 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock, get your exercise done, get your meditation and all of that sort of stuff done, and then start work before anyone else wakes up.
Yep.
And I find that those couple of hours before everyone wakes up are my most productive. And I think then it's just a case of also really understanding your own rhythms. So I know that I'm most creative in the first half of the day, and then come early to late afternoon, I just lose all creativity, like it just gets sucked out of me. So that's when I'll look at doing editing work or just more sort of mindless, non-create. I mean, editing isn't mindless, but
I know what you mean.
less creative work later on in the day. So that's sort of how I prioritize. But I think also when your resources are so tight as far as time goes, I think looking at your data and your stats and your analytics is actually really important. You have to be quite brutal sometimes in looking at what's working and what's not working and what you might need to cut from your to-do list or from your marketing mix.
Yep, definitely. No, I'm a big fan of Pomodoro technique as well. I always use that, especially if I find myself procrastinating too much or just not making enough progress on what I need to. I pull that one out quite often, and I do agree with early mornings. I'm not great with early mornings because I'm a bit of a late night person, but when I do make that effort to get up before everyone else, it's such golden time. It's amazing. Now, tell me, we haven't discussed this yet. You're obviously working with your husband and have been for several years. How do you find that? And what's your secret to having a good working relationship with your partner?
I think having a really chill partner helps. So neither Carl or I enjoy confrontation. We're both pretty laid back, but we're hard workers and we're both focused on the same goals. So being on the same page about the direction that you're heading in is so very important because if you can always come back to that when you have a disagreement or you're getting annoyed at the other person, to realize, no, they're just as focused and dedicated to this goal, it kind of puts everything back in perspective. But I think what's really worked for us as well is to identify and respect each other's area of genius.
Yeah.
So we both have very different strengths. I'm quite a creative person. Carl is a very logical person, which is perfect for a mortgage broker. He's very solution focused as well, which is great. So we know that we've got very different areas of genius and we respect that. And then what we've managed to do is then divide our responsibilities into two very distinct areas of the business. So there's not a huge amount of overlap there. This is what works for us. I look after the marketing and community engagement side of things.
Yeah.
He looks after operations, mortgage brokering, customer facing. And so by being very clear on what your responsibilities are and respecting that, I think that really works. We consult with each other, sure. We discuss ideas, great. But we both are very clear on who has veto powers over what. So he could give me some feedback or some ideas around marketing, but I have the final say.
Great.
In that.
No more Ricky Ponting pictures, hey?
No more Ricky Ponting. That's done. I've vetoed that. And I think also creating times where you're not working. We also work in different locations. Now that helps.
Yes, I bet.
That really helps. And to be professional and courteous to each other, because I think sometimes, you know, when it's your partner and you've got unconditional love and all of that sort of beautiful stuff, sometimes you can take that and each other for granted and talk to each other the way that you might not speak to a colleague in the workplace. So to actually, you know, during work times, to be kind to each other and courteous, I think that's really important as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Jo. It's been wonderful to have you on the show today and to hear about what you're up to. It sounds like you've got a lot of good things happening and are in an exciting place. If someone wants to reach out and get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to find you?
There's a few ways. They can Google Violeta Finance. So it's like the color violet with an A at the end. It's just got one T. That often confuses people. So they could just Google Violeta Finance, or they can find us on Facebook at Violeta Finance or Instagram. And yeah, you're very welcome to send me a message or a DM and just say, hi, Carl and I are super approachable and we love a good chat, as you can probably tell.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. As I said, it's been a joy having you here and having a chat. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks so much, Louisa.
Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please remember to subscribe. My recommended action item from today's show is to make sure you are crystal clear on your target audience and that you're checking in and talking with them on a regular basis. We're currently providing access to a free training session on marketing ROI. Visit interactiveminds.com and click on the link on the homepage to get access. You can also access today's show notes at interactiveminds.com/podcast. See you next week.